Good morning to all. I am Romila, Assistant Professor of Information Technology. I handle this subject Embedded System and IOT. Our subject code is CS3691. Regulation is 2021. Our code outcomes of Embedded System and IOT CO1. Understand and explain how embedded processor are structured and how their internal components are work. And CO2 is write embedded C program. It means develop programs using the C language specifically for embedded system. And CO3 design simple embedded applications. It means design and implement and basic embedded system based on applications. CO4 compare the communication models in IoT. It means analyze and compare different communication models used in Internet of Things. And CO5 design IoT application using Arduino, Raspberry Pi and open platform. It means design particle of IoT application using platforms such as Arduino, Raspberry Pi or other open platforms. And the syllabus of Embedded System and IoT, Unit 1 is 8-bit Embedded Processor, Unit 2 Embedded C Programming, Unit 3 IoT and Arduino Programming, Unit 4 Communication and Open Platforms, Unit 5 Applications Development. Introduction of 8051 microcontroller. First one, microprocessor definition. Microprocessor definition means a microprocessor is a brain of computer or electronic system. It is a simple chip that processor instructions, performs calculations and control other components. And then microcontroller definition is microcontroller is a small computer on a chip, on a single chip used to control specific tasks like electronic system. And then microcontroller is built on RAM, ROM, parallel input output, serial input output and counters and clock circuit. It advantages of 8051 microcontroller is built-in peripherals have smaller access times, hardware reduced due to single chip microcomputer system, and less hardware reduced PCB size and increase reliability of the system. And the next one is features of 8051 microcontroller. First one is 120 bytes on chip data memory and 4 register banks and 128 user defined software flags and 64 kilobytes each program and external RAM addressability. 1 microsecond instruction cycle with 12 microhertz and 32 bidirectional input output lines organized as a 4 8-bit ports, and then 2 multiple mode and 60-bit timers and counters. And next we going to architecture of 8051. This diagram is architecture of 8051. This context explained by below slides. And first one is central processing unit. It's the brain of the 8051. Executes instructions stored in program memory. It contains ALU. ALU means arithmetic logic unit. It used to do addition, subtraction, multiplication and division calculations. And then register and then control logic. And second one is on-chip ROM, program memory. A program memory it stores the program and code, and its standard for 8051 is a 4K ROM, and its CPU fetches instruction from here. And the next one is on-chip RAM. RAM means data memory. It stores temporary data and variables. This size 120 bytes. It is used for during program execution. And the next one is accelerator. Accelerator means generates the clock signal, uses an external crystal, means 4 to 30 megahertz. And the capacitors is 30 pf. It is established for frequency. And the last one is it controls the speed of operation. And then second one Bus control. Bus control means data and address buses. Manages the data and address buses. It controls communication between CPU, memory, input-output ports. CPU already know, central processing unit, and input-output ports. Supports external memory access if required. And then 4 input-output ports means port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3. Total are 32 input-out pins in the 8051 microcontroller. It's input-output microcontroller used to connect LEDs, switches, sensors, and then port 0 and port 2 can also act as a address and data bus. And next I am going to timers or counters. Time bus means used to time calculation, and then timers two types of 8051 microcontroller, timer 0 and timer 1. It is a two 16-bit timers. It means timer 0 is a 8-bit timer and timer 1 is a 8-bit timer, totally 16-bit timers used for delay generation, even counting. And then external counter inputs are T1 and T0. And then serial port is used to in 8051 for serial communication. Its pins are TXT. TXT means transmitted the data. RXT means receive the data, and it supports UART communications. And then next one is interrupt controller. Interrupt controller means handles interrupt requests, and then interrupt controllers, it's mean two types. One is interrupt 0, interrupt 1, and it ensure priority based execution. Note the point, priority based execution. It improves real time response. And then next one, external interrupts. External interrupts means allow external devices to the interrupt of CPU and useful for urgent events, etc. Button press. Example of button press. And then overall working of 8051 microcontroller is, first one is accelerator provides clock, CPU fetches program from ROM, data store and processor in a ROM, input output ports interact with external devices, and timers and interrupts manage timing and priority tasks. And the next week going to pin description of 8051. This diagram, note the diagram is 8051 pin diagram. Pin diagram means a 40 pin dual inline package, means DIP, and these 40 pins serve different functions like read, write, input output operations, and interrupts, etc. And then 8051 has a 4 input output ports, wherein each port has a 8 pins which can be configured as a input or output depending upon the logic state of the pins. Already know the 8051 microcontroller explained in the slides are 32 input output pins. This is now, therefore a 30 out of 40 pins are detected through the input output ports. And the next one is the rest of the pins are detected too. In 32 pins, remaining pins are used for VCC, ground, external input 1, external input 2, rest key, ALE key, and EA and PSEN. And then pin description of the 8051 is pin 1 to pin 8 is port 1. Pin 1 to pin 8 are assigned to the port 1 are simple input operations. And this logic is 0. If logic is 0, it is applied to the input output port, it will act as any output pin. If the logic is 1, applied the pin will act as an input pin, and these pins are referred to as a P1.0, P1.7. The P1 means is a indicates that is pin in port 1. At the after number of point is number it 0 indicates first pin of the port, and pin 9 is RST. RST means rest key, and pin 10 to pin 17 is a port 3. These pins are bidirectional pins. It means bidirectional pins. Pin 10 to 17 is a P300 RXT port, and RXT means receiver data, and P0 3.1 is a transmitter data. Transmitter data means transfer the data, and P3.2 and P303 it means interrupt data. Interrupt data is two types already know, interrupt 0 and interrupt 1, and then interrupt 0 1 is a 8-bit data, and interrupt 1 is a 8-bit register. It's totally 16-bit data. And then P03 and P04 and P05 is a timer 1, timer 0 and timer 1. Timer is a calculate the timer calculation, and P03.6 is a write the data. WR means is a write the data. P3.7 receiver data. And then next pin is pin 18 and 19, external input and external input 1 data. And then pin 20 is acts as a ground, and pin 21 to 28 port 2 is a pin 21 to 28 are port 2 pins, also refer to a P2.0 and P2.7. When additional external memory is interfaced with the 8051 microcontroller, pins of port to act as a higher order address bytes. And pin 29 means PSEN pin. PSEN pin means is a standard for program store enable, and its output active low pin. This is used for read external memory. And pin 30 ALE program pin. ALE means address latch enable. Address latch enable means its input is active I pin. The pin is used to distinguish between memory chips when multiple memory chips are used. Pin 31 is a EA pin. EA pin means E stands for external access input. And pin 32 pin 39 port 0 act as a pin 32 to 39 are port 0 pins, also referred to as P0.0 to P0.7. These are bidirectional input and output pins. And last pin is a pin 40 is a voltage pin, VCC. And then last slide is uses of pin diagram of the 8051 microcontroller is interfacing with external devices, programming the microcontroller, debugging the testing, and expanding customization. And then is the reference of 8051 microcontroller is Muhammad Ali Masri and Robert Porter. Muhammad Ali Masri is a PSN education, and Robert Porter is a network and technologies protocols use cases for the Internet of Things. And then thank you so much.